There's been some controversy around Netflix lately, but I think they finally nailed it with this new series called Arcane, League of Legends. There's 9 episodes. I watched 3 episodes each night. And every once in a while, something comes along and you just go, holy shit, we got to talk about this. Let me remind everyone before we move forward, though, to please consider subscribing to this channel. Ring the subscription bell for future videos. And if you're on another platform, go ahead and subscribe there too. Midnight American is just getting started. Really, it's been around a little while, but we've got more episodes coming up. And I got a new channel. So a lot of new channels, so they don't have any subscribers. So I want you to go on this ride with me as we look into and explore and commentate on everything from pop culture to music to politics to movies to whatever. It doesn't really matter. But today we're going to talk about Arcane, and I'm going to do my best to try to explain what it's about. Okay. I guess it's adapted from a video game called League of Legends. And this is supposed to be the prequel story to the video game. That's the way that I understand it. Okay. Now, if you don't know anything about League of Legends, that's okay. I never played the video game either, but they made it very easy for you to come into this cold with no expectations. And the way that they rolled it out, it just, you can go right into it and you don't feel like you're lost. Okay. It reminded me a lot of a movie that I saw back in like 2003, 2004 that didn't get the best response. I mean, Rotten Tomatoes didn't give it a real good rating, which is called Appleseed, but I liked Appleseed. Okay. It had some great action in it, and it was the same or at least similar style of animation, but Arcane is a lot more polished, next level stuff. It takes place in kind of a high-tech steampunk world, which you get me right out of the gate with that because I love steampunk. And then there's this whole kind of political struggle going on and a lot of situation conflict and all of that, right? So it starts off in this utopian kind of city, this upper world city called Piltover. And this is what they call the city of progress. Okay. And then it's juxtaposed with this lower level city called Zon. Okay. And this is more of like a dystopian type lower level place with lower level people. And then there's Silco. This is one of the main antagonists in there. And I guess he's part of like a drug ring, deep state, evil organization that creates this drug that turns people into destructive monsters that are kind of soldiers that work for him. But this serum also helps save lives too. So there's kind of that thing going on. Like, I'm going to explain this at least the best way that I can. And then there's this guy, his name's Jace, and he's kind of the young hero. He's part of the upper crust controlling council, and he's working with his buddy Victor on it's some kind of technical power they call the Hextet that controls this gem that has like some magical energy that is either dangerous or not dangerous. We don't really know yet, but the main story centers around Vi and Jinx, who are sisters, and they have these past grievances, which we kind of walk that with them. I'm not going to go into it and give any spoilers, but really, most of these types of series or movies that are spinoffs from video games, they suck ass. Guys, this is the purple cow. It has great characters, grand scope. It's creative. It's artistic. Look at the style, cool style, glitchy editing that I love so much, right? Beautiful animation, action-packed, great fights, shootouts, good choreography, which they got to have choreography like this when they're tracking real actors to do this type of animation, and just a completely engaging story. So what made it so good, in my opinion, was a few things. One was the characters are not two-dimensional type characters. They are complex. They have flaws. They have strengths. We get to walk their backstory with them so we understand the motivations of why they do what they do. And sometimes it's good characters doing bad things. Sometimes it's bad characters doing good things, which makes them human and likable. And that's what's great about this too, is that it's a human story. It's got heartfelt motivations, and it's unpredictable. There's a lot of plot points in here that you just don't see coming, and there's unpredictable loss. I mean, I have to admit, there were times in there that, yes, I teared up. Okay, I did. And it was great writing with very quotable lines. There's one line in there: when you're going to change the world, you don't ask for permission. And what makes you different is what makes you strong. I like these good moral value kind of lines, right? And the story itself, it illustrates that it's less about, the way I say this, gender, race, neighbors fighting each other, this whole squabbling and side to side squabble that we have with ant fighting ant. It's more about the ladder of power, right? Because there's a lot of diversity in this, okay? Not just with race and gender, but with creatures and everything else, right? It's more about classism. It's more about who has the power and who has the control over whom and why. And also, there's another little side note here that they talk about whoever controls drugs and technology also controls status and warfare. Remind you of anything else? Okay. So is there anything in here that I didn't like? Well, not a lot. I think there was a lot of tough women fighting in here, like over the top tough women though. What I'm talking about is almost indestructible women, right? They were tougher than the men. The men were more vulnerable than the women. And I kind of felt a little bit like the Jinx Powder character was pretty much a Harley Quinn ripoff. I'm sure I'm not the first one that's going to notice that, okay? Which is not necessarily a bad thing because I like Harley Quinn, right? It's a cool character. But what made this a little more interesting was that the backstory and the origin was very fleshed out. I haven't seen that much with Harley Quinn. This one, you got to really go on the ride and see how her character developed into that kind of quirky, over the top kind of psycho type of character. And so I liked it. I liked it the fact that when they rolled it out, you could follow it from the beginning. You could know exactly where you were at in the story. It doesn't insult the audience. It is a rich textural story, but it really takes you on a ride, So let's kind of go through this. Now, you can see in here, it's just amazing artwork. I think it's probably one of the best. I'm going to have to say it. I think it's one of the best series I've ever seen. Okay. I'll admit it. And I've seen a lot, right? It's a game changer, guys. I think it's a masterpiece. And I really, really hope that we see more of this from Netflix. They're already saying that they're producing a season 2 and that it's in production. And it's just nice to see this kind of quality and caring and skill and attention to detail be put into something that actually cares about what it's creating and cares about the audience that it's creating it for, over what we usually see, which is just marketing, stroking the fan base, some established demographic, and, just over the top trailers. They're just boom, 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 boom. We can't wait to see the movie. And then we go and see it and it's unwatchable. Check out the other video that I did on the trailer for The Matrix. Not that that's going to be that way. I'm just saying I went into this on that, and I will put a link somewhere in here, or maybe I'll put it at the end. I don't know. So you can check that out. And that's it, man. I just think this is a good example of just bringing your best and making something good, and it will be shared. Okay. And that's it. And make sure and share this video out as well, guys. That's it for today's review of Arcane League of Legends. Follow me on Facebook, and I also have a Patreon. Okay. Please Consider being a part of that. Sign in at midnightamerican.com and become a member of the Night Crew so that we can stay in touch. Thank you so much for sharing this time with me, guys. And until next time, know yourself better than you know anyone else.